Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear student. My name is Dr. Muhammad Adnan Asgar, and today the topic of our discussion is how to find symmetry elements in molecules under the subject of symmetry and magnetochemistry. So, first of all, we need to recall that we learned already in the lectures about the symmetry elements and the symmetry operations. We already discussed that there are 5 types of symmetry element exist. Number 1 was the identity. It was abbreviated as E and it was coined from a German word meaning unity. This symmetry element simply consists of no change. Every molecule has this element. While this element seems physically trivial, it must be included in the list of symmetry elements so that they form a mathematical group whose definition requires inclusion of identity element. It is also because its analogy to multiply by 1. In other words, identity is a property that any object needs to have regardless of symmetry properties. The next one is proper rotation. Our rotation axis or axis of symmetry. It is actually an axis around which a rotation by 360 degree over n results in a molecule indistinguishable from its original shape. So if the molecule is indistinguishable from the original, then we can set this is the axis of rotation or proper rotation. This is also called n-fold rotational axis and abbreviated as Cn. Examples are the Cn, C2 axis in water and C3 axis in ammonia we already discussed. A molecule can have more than one symmetry axis. The one with the highest n is called the principal axis and by the convention is aligned with the z-axis is the Cartesian coordinate. So if a molecule possesses more than one type of symmetry axis, then the molecule which have more highest n value is the principal axis. The third one was the plane of symmetry. It is actually a plane of reflection through which an identical copy of the original molecule is generated. This is also called mirror plane and abbreviated as sigma. Water has 2 of them, one in the plane of molecule itself and one perpendicular to it. A symmetry plane parallel with the principal axis is abbreviated as sigma v, vertical. V stand for the vertical, and one perpendicular to it is the sigma h, h for the horizontal. Sometimes a third type of symmetry plane exists. If a vertical symmetry plane additionally bisects the angle between two-fold rotation axis perpendicular to the principal axis, then the plane is known as the dihedral and abbreviated with sigma d. So I would like to repeat the dihedral again. It is actually a third type of symmetry plane. If a vertical symmetry plane additionally bisects the angle between two-fold rotation axis perpendicular to the principal axis, the plane is known as dihedral and abbreviated with sigma d. While the next one was the center of symmetry and also known as the inversion center, abbreviated with I. A molecule has a center of symmetry when from any atom in a molecule an identical atom exists diametrically opposite this center and equal distance from it. We can set this molecule possesses inversion center. In other words, a molecule has a center of symmetry when points x, y, z and minus x, minus y and minus z correspond to identical objects. For example, if there is any oxygen atom in point x, y or z, then there is another oxygen atom in the point minus x, minus y, minus z. There may or may not be an atom at inversion center itself. So we have discussed some of the examples of the inversion center already, and I would like to share some more examples at the end of the lecture for to understand the inversion center in a molecule. The last one was the improper rotation, and sometimes known as rotation reflection axis, and an axis around which a rotation by 360 over n followed by a reflection in a plane perpendicular to it leaves a molecule unchanged. Also called as n-fold improper rotation axis, is abbreviated as SN. We had already discussed some examples of the SN, and we are going to discuss some of the recent examples in detail to understand the improper rotation. So the question is how to find the complete set of symmetry element or operations in a compound. So there are many methods to find the complete set of symmetry element or operation in a compound, but the most important one, we need to concentrate on the molecule dimensions and the structure of the molecule, and we need to try to find out the every geometrical and structural aspect of the molecule, so that we can able to find the different symmetry operations found in that particular compound. Here is the example PCl5. Find out the complete set of symmetry elements in PCl5. We know that the structure of PCl5 is triangular bipyramidal. We can see this is the this color is belong to phosphorus, and while rest of the molecule are the chlorine, and they are arranged in such a manner that they form the trigonal bipyramidal geometry. So guess what kind of symmetry operation it have. So first of all, we know that we need to write the identity, because every molecule have identity, so we need to write E first. So the next one is the proper rotation. Try to find out the how many type of proper rotations does PCl5 exist. So from this angle we can find there would be a axis of rotation. So what could you think if we take this axis as an axis of rotation for PCl5 molecule? What would you think that would it be C3, C2 or any other? You have to think about the proper axis of rotation. So here I would like to discuss this is the C3, because if we see from the upper side of the chlorine and phosphorus, we can say this is the C3 rotation found in the PCl5, and moreover there are 3 C2 exist, which the axis of rotation passes through the chlorine as well as from the phosphorus. So same 3 C2 exist in PCl5. Same, there are 3 sigma V, just we can see there, and one is a sigma H. I would like to give more comprehensive detail of about PCl5, how we can determine C3, S3 and C2, sigma V and sigma H more proper way. So here I would like to take you the guys here. Yes, this is the actually PCl5 molecule. This is the upper view of PCl5. Here you can't say this is the PCl5, but this is exactly the PCl5 molecule. Here I am going to rotate this molecule. Yes, you can see this. This is exactly PCl5, and this is the trigonal bipyramidal structure of PCl5. Here we can see this is C3 rotation. I would like to show the C3 rotation, how C3 works. This is, yes, here you can see this is actually the C3 rotation axis. If you rotate this molecule from this axis of rotation, you can give C3 rotation quite easily. So to understand about the C3 rotation, we need to draw the molecule structure like this, or we need to take the at least 3D structure of the molecule. So what about the C2 rotations? Here, yes, here you can see that this is the C2 rotation, exist in the molecule. This is exactly the C2 rotation. You can see that. So now we are going to talk about the other sigmas are sigma H, sigma V. Yes, these are the different sigma. We know that this is the sigma H perpendicular to the principal axis, shown with the red color. This you can see that this is the sigma H. Sigma H is the actually horizontal sigma, and it is perpendicular to the principal axis. We know that the principal axis is the C3 axis because C3 is the principal rotation. So perpendicular to this is the sigma H. Here we can see that this is the shown in red color. Yes, while in blue color we can see this is the sigma V. So I would like to show the complete set of symmetry elements to you. Here we can say this is the C3, C2, sigma H in red, while the sigma V. And here is the complete description of PCl5. This is the actually S3 rotation. If you like to see, this is S3 rotation. So in our lecture we have studied there are about 9 symmetry elements exist in PCl5. These are the identity, C3, 3 C2, 3 sigma V and 1 sigma H. PCl5 contains a C3 main rotation axis and 3 perpendicular C2 axes. There are 3 sigma V planes and a single sigma H plane. So this is all about the PCl5. Now find out the complete set of symmetry element in XeF4 xenon tetrafluoride. So if we talk about XeF4, the structure is quite obvious. It is a square planar structure of XeF4. So there are 2 lone pair on Xe, but it doesn't affect on the structure right now. What kind of rotation it have? XeF4. So identity is present. We know that. We need to write identity first. After identity, we would like to discover what kind of proper rotation it have. So from this we can easily determine there is C4. If we rotate the molecule, we can get the C4 rotation very easily, and through the same principal axis we can have a C2 rotation also. So there is one identity, the other is C4 and the C2 on the same axis. Here we can see this is the C4 from this angle of rotation, and same angle of rotation possesses C2 rotation in XeF4. So while XeF4 have other C2s, there are 4 different type of C2 also exist, and these are the actually the C2 rotation axis of the XeF4. Here we can see that this is the C2 dash. We can say this is a C2 dash, C2 dash, and between the atoms is C2 double dash or simple C2. So there are 4 different C2 also exist in XeF4, while there is S4 rotation also exists. This is the same principal axis from which we have studied the C4 and C2 rotation. So there is a S4 rotation also exists. So the question is whether it have sigma H or not. Yes, there is sigma H, because we know that sigma H is actually horizontal plane of symmetry, and it will exhibits only if the principal axis have a perpendicular plane of symmetry. So this is the sigma H for the XeF4. Here we can see in the picture. Yes, and moreover there are 4 sigma V or 2 sigma V and 2 sigma D is also in the symmetry elements of the XeF4. The more important, whether it have inversion center or not. Yes, it have inversion center, because if we move from a center point of symmetry to any distance, to any position. Then if we find an atom or element, for example, if we are moving to this side, we have fluorine atom, while on the other side opposite to that point, which there should be on equal distance, the same atom should be there. If it is, then there is inversion center. If so there are complete set of symmetry elements of XeF4. There is the identity, there is C4, this C2, S4 inversion center, 2C2 dash, 2C2 double dash, sigma H, 2 sigma V, and 2 sigma V dash. So there is about 14 symmetry elements present in the xenon tetrafluoride. So here is an assignment or problem for you people. In this question, you have to state the single symmetry operation of XeF4, which has the same effect as applying a given operation several times. The diagram below shows the location of the symmetry elements concerned. Here is the diagram. And what kind of operation we need to study? What operation has the same effect as? S4 twice have what kind of effect that we studied already? S4 3, S4 4, C4 2, C4 thrice, C4 4, sigma twice, and inversion twice. So we need to find the effect of operations so for the XeF4. This is your assignment. Now move to the next question. Find out the complete set of symmetry elements present in BF3 molecule. So this is the BF3 molecule. We can see this is the just like planar molecule, boron trifluoride. So is there any symmetry element? Yes, there are too many symmetry elements, about 10 symmetry element it have. For example, we need to write the identity first, then there is C3 at this axis of rotation. We can say this is a C3, and moreover 3C2 also present in BCl3. This is the first C2, second one, and the third one, while there are 3 sigma on the same plane where we can find the C2. 3 sigma V is also present, sigma H is also present in BCl3. This sigma H is actually the perpendicular to the principal axis. So here is the principal axis C3 because it have maximum value of N in this molecule. Here is the complete set of symmetry elements or operation present in BF3. Identity C3, S3, 3 C2, 3 sigma V, and 1 sigma H. This is all about the complete set of symmetry elements present in BF3. Now let us find the complete set of symmetry elements in boric acid. This is quite interesting molecule that we are going to study. H3BO3. This is the structure of boric acid. We can see this boron is directly attached to the 3 oxygen atom which are further attached to the hydrogen. So this is the structure. Let us find the symmetry elements in boric acid. So identity is the constant thing we need to write first. While is there any C2? No, there is no C2. There is C3. There is one C3 and another C3 twice. There are, here I would like to show this. This is a C3. This is a C3. I have put an arrow on one of the hydrogen of H3BO3 so that it could be easy to understand what kind of operation is going to be occur and what kind of operation produce the indistinguishable shape rather than identical. So there is C3 operation and it is the principal axis of rotation. Moreover, there is S3 in this axis of rotation also. There is sigma H horizontal. Is there any sigma V? You need to find. You need to think about this. No, there is no sigma V present in H3BO3. There is no other axis of rotation also found in H3BO3 because there is only one C3. And if we look at the structure carefully, it is very easy to find what kind of rotations it have. So before going to study the S3 and S35 of rotation in H3BO3, I would like to show the C3 twice and sigma H in H3BO3. For this we need to study the three-dimensional structure of the H3BO3. Here it is. So for all kind of molecules, I would like to share one thing with you people, that you need to go to the Google and you need to write the, for example, you need to write the complete set of symmetry elements of boric acid, or complete set of symmetry elements of PCl5, XeF4, BCl3, etc. So there would be a website named chemtube3d.com. This is quite useful to study the different molecules in three-dimensional structure, and it would be quite helpful to find out the different symmetry elements as well as operations in a quite easy and comprehensive way. So this is actually the H3BO3, and I would like to show the C3 rotation in H3BO3. So here, yes, you can see that this is the C3 rotation. You need to note one of the atom like oxygen, and definitely this oxygen will occupy the space of this one, and this oxygen atom would like to occupy the space of the other oxygen. Here I would like to show you again. Yes, this is the 1C3 rotation, and there is C3 rotation in H3BO3 as well as C3 twice. So there are two C3. One is S3 and sigma H, and here it is. Yes, here you can see this is the sigma H. Yes, you can see half of the molecules on the upper side while half is on the lower side. Sigma H is actually on the perpendicular or on the right angle of the principal axis. So this is the principal axis, you can see, and this is the sigma in H3BO3. This is the complete set of symmetry elements of H3BO3. Now let's we talk about the S3 and S35 that is exist in the H3BO3. Here it is. So we can see here that there is H3BO3, and for our easiness I would like to mark one of the hydrogen with upper arrow. This is the green arrow. To study the S3, we know that S means improper rotation, and improper rotation was the rotation followed by reflection. So we need to give the rotation first, then we need to give the reflection. So S3 means there should be C3 rotation. So if we rotate this molecule from this axis of rotation, we can get this hydrogen over there. So the arrow on the upper side. Now if we apply the reflection, the arrow should be on the downward side. So this is the complete S3 operation in H3BO3. So this is the S3. After S3 we need to apply again S3 operation to this molecule. So after applying S3, there is an arrow on this side but on the upside. So we can also set this S3 is actually the S3 twice if we take direct operation from the parent molecule. So again we need to try S3. So we will get molecule structure like this one, and this could be done through S3 thrice. So we need to repeat S3 three times. If we repeat S3 three times, we will be able to get this kind of structure. So let's move. If we again apply a S3 operation to this molecule, we will get the structure like this. This is actually the S3 four times. We need to apply S3 four times, and this is the S3 again. This is actually S3 five times, and if we again apply S3 6, it means we will get the identity. So we need to write different symmetry operations We already know there is identity in H3BO3. You need to write on your notebooks. There is identity, there is C3, there is C3 twice, there is sigma H, and there are so many S3. But what we need to write, we have to decide this first. This is actually, I would like to show the complete symmetry elements or symmetry operation of H3BO3. This is the complete. So why we do not write S3 twice, S3 thrice, S3 four times, four eyes? Why we do not write? Because if you saw carefully, if we apply the S3 twice, we will get the structure like this. This is actually C3 twice. If we apply C3, the arrow would be on this side. If we apply C3 twice, the arrow would be there and upside. So because this is the axis of rotation, arrow do not change its position. Arrow do not change its position. So S3 twice would be equal to C3 twice. You need to learn very. So S33 is equal to sigma H. How would we know that? Because sigma H, we already know that this is the actually the perpendicular to the axis of rotation. So if we apply the sigma H over there, the arrow should be downward. So this is equal to sigma H. So we do not need to write S3 thrice as well. What about S34? If we saw carefully that the arrow on the upside while on the second hydrogen. So this is the first. If we apply the C3 rotation, we can see this is actually the C3 operation. This will correlate with the C3, so we do not write the S34 as well. While in case of S35, we do not find any kind of symmetry element coincide with S35. So the complete set of symmetry element for H3BO3 is identity, C3, C3 twice, sigma H, S3 and S35. So here is the complete set. So I would like to let you know again, this S3 C2 S3 twice is equal to C3 twice, and S3 thrice is equal to sigma H, while S34 is equal to C3. If any of the operation coincide with the major symmetry elements, then we should have to write the major symmetry elements rather than the simple operations. So this is a complete description of H3BO3, and here is the complete set of symmetry elements as well as operation of H3BO3. So let us talk about the water molecule. We know that this is the simplest molecule, and you have a quite good clue to find out the symmetry elements of many molecules. So this is just a piece of cake for you people if you understand that how to find the symmetry elements in a molecule. There is axis of rotation, and this is the only C2 rotation found in H2O, we can see clearly. And there are two types of sigmas, plane of symmetry is present in the water molecule. One is just along the axis of rotation, while the other one on the perpendicular to this one. So this is actually the two type of sigmas present in water molecule. Here is the complete description of symmetry elements found in water: E, C2, sigma V and sigma V dash. Sigma V dash, it means both sigmas are sigma V. There is no sigma H. There is no sigma found perpendicular to the principal axis. So if there is sigma present perpendicular to the axis of rotation, then there would be sigma H. This is all about the water molecule. Learn to find inversion center is quite important. We can learn to find the inversion center very easily. If we saw this molecule, we know that inversion center was actually the point of center in a molecule from where we can draw a line towards any molecule Subsequently, on the opposite side of the molecule, we need to draw the same line on the opposite side. If we found the same element on both sides, it means that molecule possesses inversion center. If no, there would be no inversion center. Here we can see this. These are the very clear examples to learn about the inversion center in molecules. This is the molecule of ethane. You can saw here 1,4-dibromobenzene and trans-dibromoethane. For your better understanding, you can better to go to chemistry tube channel, and you will find the three-dimensional structure of these molecules. That would be quite helpful for you people to find out the different axes of rotation, different plane of symmetries, sigmas, different improper rotations, as well as inversion center. This was all about this lecture.